up, guys? Chen here. Welcome to another episode of Hoonigan Autofocus. I got Shawn Basset here today, Mr. 240Z. A lot of you guys are just going to make fun of me this whole episode for bringing up my 240Z, so I'm just going to bring it up in the beginning.
Can we do it? Insert it right here?
Can we just insert it? Okay.
Yep.
240Z, 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 my 240Z, orange bang. I'm not going to mention it anymore. This is interesting because I've actually featured this car before.
A non-running version SEMA car.
Right, so last time I featured it, it had a lot of Bluetooth things, right? Bluetooth fuel lines.
Yep, Bluetooth fuel lines. I think that's pretty much, Bluetooth wirings. It was just the full Bluetooth wires,
Right.
engine harness.
It's just no wires at all. It was just like...
A very strategic wire tuck.
Got it. But now, guess where we're at?
Pikes Peak, we finally made it.
Pikes Peak's right up there, right behind that cloud of smoke. And this runs, you passed tech just now.
We did, yeah. That was pretty nerve-wracking, but yeah.
So what are we gonna do? Are we gonna talk about some of the updates since then?
Yep.
Some of the trials, tribulations, all of that?
Yeah.
It's been such a crazy road for you because you had this dream. I'm gonna build a 240Z and it's gonna be all carbon and I'm gonna run it up the historic Pikes Peak Hillclimb. Since then, what have you done? You've done time attack, you've done...
Yeah, so since then, yeah, I mean, we built a car like purpose-built for Pikes Peak. That was the dream from the get-go. So it's really cool to have that, like, we're here, we're doing it. We ran the mountain in testing, but we're teched all ready to go. But since then, since all my Bluetooth features at SEMA, we've done a lot of updates actually. A lot of Aero updates, a lot of motor updates, a lot of safety updates.
Yeah, let's go over some of this stuff. So in terms of Aero, because you've done time attack and you've done other forms of racing since then, you've actually further developed what the car was.
Yeah, so we basically are running a little winglet canard setup in the front. We want a little bit more grip up front, and then so that's working out really well. And then we're running a much larger, I made my own wing before, and now we're running a APR dual element GT wing, which has been really cool, keeping the rear planted on the car.
And in terms of motor, what have you updated here?
We're still running, it runs now, an aluminum 5.3.
Can we take a look at it?
Let's take a look at it.
All right, so tell us about the motor now. What have you changed?
So before is, junkyard motor, still a junkyard, all aluminum 5.3, so it's an L33. But we've partnered with Holley Performance. So we're running the, Atomic Air Force intake. We got a big cam in it, custom headers. Basically, we threw the whole Holley catalog at it. It's running a Holley Dominator for ECU. And it makes about 415, 420 rear wheel. And she's great for the power, at sea level. Here we're down on power a little bit, but we'll work on boosting the car for next year.
So how much does this weigh now?
So we're a little heavy for Pikes Peak. We used to weigh about 2650. We're right at 2900 for Pikes Peak trim. So we're running a lot of safety stuff in the car, oxygen. That is with me in it, geared up and full tank of fuel.
I love that you still have this.
Yeah.
But sir, this says that you have max horsepower at RPM 150 at 6,000.
Yeah, we've exceeded that a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
The horsepower in the car is not super impressive, but we're really close to factory weight. So, like the car is, it's really fast for what it is, I guess.
Well, I'm excited to see it on the mountain. What else have you changed for Pikes Peak?
So we've got brand new BC Forge TD01 wheels on the car. It's a really similar design I had on before, but it's got double step lip. It really, I think, makes the car look meatier. And then we're running the Toyos Tires RS1 Proxy full slicks. This has been probably one of the biggest improvements to the car. The grip level's insane with these motorsport slicks. I can never go back to a different tire. It's been really, really great.
So did you actually have to make everything bigger to fit this setup?
Yeah, we are, it's really tight. We've also, we're running AST air jacks on the car. So they're all inboard, but they're all fighting for space now with the inside of the fender and then the air jacks. There's a lot of things fighting for space right now, but yeah, we've just maximized the biggest tire we could possibly put on the car. But the grip level on the car is unreal. It's as close as you can get to a shifter cart.
Have you changed the transmission since last time I saw it?
We haven't. We are running the S1 sequential conversion shifter on it, so that converts it the shifting pattern from H pattern to sequential. It's really nice. You still have to use a clutch, but you can't miss a shift. It's up and down. It's really easy to do. I like it quite a bit.
And that one, what kind of transmission is that then?
It's a T56 transmission, so it's out of a WS6. And but it's built, it's good. We'll probably upgrade one day to a full sequential when the budget allows. But so far, it's been really good.
And tell me a little bit about like the challenges. I know you asked to compete at Pikes Peak a couple years ago, right? And they basically said, "Hey, we love the car, but we need you to have more racing experience."
Yeah, so I've got a pretty good two-wheeled resume for pro racing, and I applied 2 years ago, and they say, "Shawn, if you want to race a bike here, you're more than welcome, but as far as a car, we need to see some more pro race experience." So last year we really worked on pro racing and getting on podiums and with Global Time Attack. We tried to get as many races as we could under our belt. That way, when we applied for 2020, we were a shoe-in, and they accepted our invite, which was pretty awesome. And then yeah, it's been quite challenging with COVID and all this stuff like that, but it's yeah, we're just stoked to be here.
Well, I'm happy you're here. To your knowledge, how many 240Zs have driven this race?
I can only find one. I can't imagine there's only one other one besides myself, but I can only find one other car, and it looked like he did it in the dirt and pavement. Thinking like 2000s or something like that, but I can only imagine, but it seems to be a short list.
Well, I'll tell you, I've never seen one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to drive my car up just as a tourist, but
yeah,
for you to be able to drive this up at speed, that would be so cool.
It was pretty cool. It felt like all of our hard work came to fruition, during tire testing. It's really nice to get tech stickers and be able to say you can now race, but it was pretty crazy, summoning the car from doubles playground to finish line for the first time. That was pretty awesome. It was definitely a dream come true.
Let's see, let's go around the back here. So that's one of the things I want to see is I want to see this thing all jacked up with the air jacks. I think that's super cool.
Yeah, I'd say one of probably our biggest improvement is making the car really reliable in really harsh Pikes Peak conditions. We're running a 12-gallon tank, and we need every bit of it to get to the top. So we're one of the biggest upgrades we're running is the Aftermarket Industries fueled by AI fuel system and surge tank. I was having a lot of surge issues when a car would get about half to a quarter tank of gas with a lot of sloshing, even with a full foam setup. And that's definitely going to ensure, through all the twisties that we can make it up to the top, no problems.
In a way, it's actually good that the organization told you to get more four-wheel experience because you had a chance to develop this car more, because it would have been such a shame for you to show up on race day or race week and not be able to make it to the top.
Yeah, that's I would say I 100% agree with you, and I 100% agree with the Pikes Peak officials. It was definitely bumming to hear that we want you to come back, but just like you said, I think it was an opportunity to develop the car more, refine the car more, and yeah, I think we're going to put our best effort for sure this year.
Plus, on top of that, since then you've built quite the following with this car. In terms of other people seeing this competing, hopefully you can inspire some other people to build a car like this for Pikes Peak or for just Time Attack in general.
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, for me, it's always been a race car, but I think it was introduced to the world as a SEMA car. And it just, for me, I always joke is it was a race car that just happened to be at SEMA. So yeah, it's for me, it's really great to see it finally coming true and, doing what its intended purpose is.
Can we take a look at the inside, see any of the updates from the inside?
Yeah.
In terms of throwing the entire Holley catalog at this, I see that you got their IMAX movie screen
Yeah.
For your dash.
Yeah, so this is the 13 and some change inch dash. It's great. Also doubles as a great mirror to put your harness on. But no, it's awesome. You can scroll through screens of, you know, different setups and gauges, and it's way smarter than me.
Can we turn it on so I can see what it looks like? I like that it shows a mouse for a second.
Yeah. Yeah, you can actually like scroll around on it. It's
That's actually really neat. Like, that's a great gauge replacement.
everyone looks at it like that's huge, but like when you're sitting in the car, it's great, a really great reference to look down at and, you know, see everything that you need to see, large and in your face. And it's got all kind of warning lights, and this thing flashes red if stuff's going wrong. And yeah, it's
I also love that it kind of continues the dash theme,
Yeah,
the carbon theme. And so the refresh rate on this is pretty good, huh? To the point
Yeah.
where you can't really tell.
I can't tell at all. It's I'm more worried looking forward, but it's really nice to glance down real quick and see that everything's going good. Of course, we kept, you know, some 240 style with you know, some analog gauges in as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a 240Z unless it has the 3 pods up there. Yeah, or a Z car in general.
Yeah, I think some bigger improvements is like, you know, we're getting it like a real usable race car, and you know, Florida heat, it's hot, man, and so we now have the chill out system. This is a state of the art, you know, system to keep you cool. So it's got refrigerant inside of it. There's no like ice or anything like that. It's a full, you know, refrigerant setup, and that's probably one of my favorite things right now is.
Wait, so it's electric?
Yep.
And then there's no fluid going through here?
It is fluid, but instead of using like ice, like a traditional, you know, shirt setup uses, it uses like refrigerant and a coolant as opposed to water and ice, and it's like instant into your shirt. It's really nice.
So it doesn't, I mean, because I know if you wear a cool suit too long, it basically heats you up in a way, because then you've melted all of the stuff.
It never, there's nothing to melt.
Yeah.
So it's got, you know, Freon inside of it, and it just, you know.
So, and it's electric then?
Yep. Okay. Yeah, and you can control it from the little button right there. That's one of my, definitely one of my favorite things living in Florida right now is being able to stay nice and cool, because, you know, this car's hot. I mean, the exhaust dumps right out in the front, you know, the firewall on both sides, and the cab gets pretty warm, and so that's definitely been a lifesaver.
So is this a new addition?
It is new. For Pikes Peak rule, they want a firewall in between you and the fuel cell. So that's not typical for, you know, most club racing or, you know, other time attack events, but that's you know, one thing we added for Pikes Peak, and yeah.
And I see you're running anti-gravity batteries. I actually have one, and I'm actually going to put that in my Z.
Are literally the best.
So this is one of those examples of something where even the technology wasn't there when you first built this car, right?
Nope. Yeah, so this, I didn't have the battery in the car for our first SEMA, but you know, talking to Bart and anti-gravity, yeah, we got it in the car, and it is such a great feature for a race car. I mean, you rarely ever drive a race car, and so you're always coming out to a dead battery, and that restart on it's awesome, and you know, you never have a dead battery. It's great. And then I've got that Melee Designs battery box. That's a rally spec box, very nice, and it couples really well with the anti-gravity battery.
So one of the things that I remember saying when I actually featured the car for the first time right after the SEMA show, I just couldn't believe how clean this thing is as a race car, because race cars sometimes they're just a little gritty and a little dirty, and it's okay because they're not supposed to be good looking, you know, they're supposed to be functional.
Yeah.
With this, it's still so clean. All the wiring, everything is tucked perfectly. Like I could see through the firewall here, all of the relays, all the little things that you've put together. Even behind the dash here, it's still so neat. Behind my dash in my 240Z, it seriously is a fire hazard still, I think. Probably because of how many wires are crisscrossing back there. But I cannot believe how clean this is as a race car. Even like the slight bends and everything in the cage. There's just so much. And in terms of like the gusseting here, I absolutely love all of this.
My favorite
Fab work.
part about race cars is the interior. I always want to see what the inside of a race car looks like. Like, that's the first thing I want to see. So like I want a very like sterile work environment, so to speak. And yeah, I'm really happy with the way the inside of the car looks and feels, and it's easy to spot leaks or issues or anything like that.
In terms of the cage too, looking at it, like the door bar area is so stout over there. It's really something, it's like crazier than normal, I feel like.
Yeah, so we're running a NASCAR style bar setup on the driver's side and an X bar on the passenger side. And you know, there's a bunch of people say one's better than the other, but I just like that NASCAR style side impact, even though we're not doing wheel to wheel racing. I just feel safer with it, and it's also easier to get in and out of the car with.
I mean, you know, the thing is, yeah, you may not be doing wheel-to-wheel racing, but as we've seen some really crazy incidents on Pikes Peak that have nothing to do with other cars.
Yeah, it's
more to do with rocks on the side of the road or the mountain in
100% agree
general.
with you. Like, and that's why like people with time attack are like, well, you should have done an X bar. This car's built for Pikes Peak, so we're thinking like boulders in mind and pretty gnarly stuff. That's why we have, you know, our down bars and stuff like that.
This is it. You're here.
It is, yeah.
So to all of those haters out there that saw this car at the SEMA show and it's like, yeah, right, it's a race car. Yeah, right, it's going up Pikes Peak. It took a couple of years, but he's here and he's ready to battle that mountain.
Ready to do it.
I think that's a wrap, right? Is there anything else?
No, I think this is our best effort. This is 5 years of hard work, and we're ready to crush the mountain.
We'll just see you at the top.
Yep, donuts.
Yes, donuts.
Donuts at the top.
The ones that you eat, not the ones, yeah. They don't like those too much. The ones you eat, they like those.